Alright, I'm going to show you a little bit about the blasters. It's really a sound effects asset, but it does include some logic to get the turrets and blasters to fire. I initially made it for demo purposes so I could showcase the sounds, but then I thought, hey, I'll package it a bit neater, and then I'll include documented scripts and so forth, so you can reuse the same logic and also the graphics if you want, even though that's more of a placeholder. But you're very welcome to use it, it's included. I'll just show you in this demo scene, I'll show you what the blaster does. So it just fires blaster bullets with sound effects. Whoa, surprise. Okay. And how this works is that I've got a turret object, and on that one I've got the main. So this base is the base foundation that it's placed on. It doesn't. You don't need that one. The turret here is this body of the turret. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. So it's this part, and then you have the two blasters, the left and the right one. On the turret itself, I've got a script called BL turret, and it's located in the blasters demo scripts folder. And that contains different settings. So, for example, what type of sound effect to play when it fires, and what volume that sound effect should be. And it's got the impact sounds, and as you can see, both of these are arrays. And if you drag and drop multiple sounds in here, like the round robin variations, for example, the BL turret script will automatically cycle through the different sounds for each time it fires or impacts on something. And that's to make it less repetitive. So if you buy the blasters large version, for every 1600 blasters sounds there are, you actually get the 4 times round robin variations for it, so it'll cycle through it. If you look at the other video where I showcase a little bit about the sounds themselves, you'll be able to see the difference better about the round robin sounds. I'll put a link down at the bottom so you can click on that one if you want. So the BL turret script includes the sound effects to fire, sound effects for impact and the volumes, and then you have a few different turret properties to play around with. So you've got the rate of fire, and that's how many rounds per minute this blaster will fire. In the demo, you can alter this with the Q and the W. So this is 240 rounds per minute. And then if I increase it to 480, 960, and I'll go down to 60%. Okay, so if you alter the rate of fire in the inspector, that's what you get. And you can also alter that through the script if you want. It's a public variable, so you can assign that from elsewhere. In this demo, I assign it from this demo script. You also have this option to fire sequential, and what that means is if you press Z in this demo, it'll switch to false, so it'll not fire sequential, it'll fire simultaneously for all the blasters. Okay, so sequential and simultaneous. And then you also have the ability to control the rotation speed, and that's how quickly the turret should aim when you rotate it. And also, if I reduce that one to 2, for example, I'll also show the lock Y-axis at the same time if I disable that. Actually, I have it on this script here. Whoa, it's acting funny. Here we go. Lock X-axis is if it's true. Oh, sorry, lock Y-axis is that if it's true, it doesn't affect the height. If I set, and you can see the rotation speed is a lot slower now when I change the speed of rotation. And if I press X, then now I can also aim up and down. So let's bring the speed back up and do that one. So the next one that you can configure on this turret script is the muzzle flash prefab. And I've included a number of demo prefabs, and basically that's the the flash, if you look here, so from the side, the purple sort of orb that's emitting from the at the muzzle effects. And I've included that you can play around and combine with, and you can put your own there as well. And if you want to make your own ones, I suggest that you duplicate one of the existing ones and then you modify these if you want. So let's have a look. Yeah, I think that should be it. And then back to the turret. So that was the muzzle flash. Then you have some bullet properties, and first of all is the bullet that you want to instantiate. And I've also included some of the bullet prefabs, different colors and visual appearance. So the bullets, they're basically, the ones I've included are a combination of trail renders, it's got light attached to it, and particle system. And it's also got this BL bullet script, which is required. It's got some parameters like velocity, how fast it should move, the life of the bullets, how long it should live, and also if you want to apply an impact impulse force when the object hits, you can see here. So you can see that it pushes that cube back when it hits, and that's this impact pulse force that you can configure. If you want bullets that don't take as much sort of performance, you'd want to disable the light probably for the bullets if you don't need that, and reduce the number of particles that it emits, or even disable the particles altogether and just use this trail render. So you can duplicate these and play around with it. Okay, so back to the turret script. That was the bullet prefab, and I should also mention that these bullets are not instantiated when you fire the turret. Rather, it spawns. Actually, if I disable the maximize here, you'll see now that it creates a whole number of deactivated bullets. There we see. And basically, it just pools all these and creates them when you start, when you create the turret, and then when you fire the turret, it enables them, and then it sort of deactivates them. And this is called object pooling, and it's quite commonly used in games because instantiating a new bullet takes a lot of it has a lot of overhead that the computer needs to do. It needs to do memory allocation and sort out the resources. And when you destroy an object, it also needs to have the garbage collector collecting the rubbish and getting rid of it from the memory. So instead of doing that over and over again, basically we just spawn a number of bullets and we disable them just using set active false. And then when you fire it, it basically repositions one of the available deactivated bullets. It repositions it at the tip of the blaster, and then it applies the correct velocity and sets the new lifetime for the bullet. So when I fire it, basically it just enables an available bullet and then repositions it here until it's deactivated when it reaches end of life or impact system. The number of the pool size is based, since we know the rate of fire, so rounds per minute, and we know the lifetime of the bullet, which is set to 2 or 4 by this demo script actually, then it knows how many bullets it needs to spawn, and if it still runs out of bullets, then it'll instantiate a few new ones and increase the size of the pool. Okay, so you have the bullet velocity, that's how fast the bullets should move. If I press, let's maximize this one again. There we go. Let's do, so if I press A and S, I can increase and decrease the velocity. So the slowest ones. Very slow moving ones. You might want to change the way the bullets if you do that, you can even have them moving slower if you want. Slow bullets are probably more useful if I change the camera angle here. I press X. I default. No, I need to update. This should say C there, so I need to update that. Do that for release. The slow velocity might be useful when you do a top-down game, like this. Whereas the fast velocities, if I do it really fast, like 1600, you hardly even see them. But this speed might be more useful if you do this type. Okay, and let's have a look. So if I do slower, maybe 400 or 800. So that's the velocity of the bullets. And the bullets that you get with this one uses ray casting to see if I were just to check for collisions, it would not be so fast, or it'd be quite slow, and also it would pass through most objects because this bullets are moving so fast that it wouldn't even detect a collision. It'll just basically update in the physics engine once it's passed through an object. So instead it uses ray casting, which is the most common method to do it. So it, basically when the bullet flies, I don't know why I call it a bullet because it's a blaster anyway, when the energy burst, whatever, when the I'll just say bullet. When the bullet flies, it'll have a ray cast in front of it for a distance that's appropriate to the velocity that it's traveling, and basically it looks ahead, and if it when it comes near an object, instead of updating it, jumping through it, the ray cast will hit the object and it'll predict that, okay, I'm going to hit at this point. But again, that's common practice for this type of stuff, but I wanted to mention it anyway. So it uses the ray casting to detect the hits. Okie dokie. And then we've got the bullet life, which is set to 2, so the bullet will live for 2 seconds. And then also impact prefab, and that's something to spawn. That's actually also pooled in the same way as the bullets, but so if you want a particle effect when it hits like a target, so you can have different ones, and those are also included here in the impacts folder. So you can duplicate and customize these particle effects as you need. Okay, so that was the turret script. Under the turret, then you have the blaster itself, and that has the BL blaster script applied to it, and that only has 2 settings, which is the muzzle, and that refers to a child object that must be located as a child, and that's an empty game object that's positioned at the very tip of the barrel of the blaster. And it's important as well that this needs to face with a Z direction, facing, or it should be aligned with the blaster itself and facing out of the nozzle. And basically, this is for the blaster script, or for the turret script, to know that when I instantiate or when I create a bullet from the pool, then I need to position it right here, and I need to do the flash effect here as well. So that's what that one is used for. And it's also important then, so this one is basically just a reference of that one. And then you also have this setting called a recoil distance. So if I set that one to 0.1, for example, for these two, when I fire this one, you'll see that it doesn't move so much. Basically, you can disable that altogether if you don't want any movement at all, or you can increase it even for a larger. So it depends if you need it or not. And also, basically, you could just duplicate. Like if I were to press Ctrl D, duplicate this blaster and reposition it there, for example, and press play. It'll just include that. Since it's a child object, it knows that it's a blaster that's included for this turret. And you could probably go overboard as well. There you go. Let's take these away. Okay, what you should also find is let's see, if I go to the scripts here. So these are written in C#. I don't have any JavaScript versions of them, so it's all C#. They'll still work, but if you need to modify them, you probably want to know what you're doing in C#. All the scripts are documented, so basically all the parameters and why I'm doing the different things is all documented in green, or whatever color you have selected, but in this example. Okay. And that goes for all the scripts. And the scripts that are included is the turret script, which is the main one to control the logic to fire and have children blasters, and how you do the velocity and bullet pooling and everything like that. That's included in the turret script. And then you have the blaster script, which is smaller, which is just that you need to attach to the actual blasters. And then you have the bullet script, which is must be applied to the bullet because you need to. And then you have some much smaller script like the muzzle flash, the impact explosion, a virtual enemy that just rolls to these boxes that rolls towards you, and then you have some demo script basically that just sets up this these type of scenes, so you see how you can control the turret from externally. Because when you fire a blaster, you want to call. Let's actually go through that one. There's a public method. One is called aim. So let's see if you do this, for example. You'd want to call this one to say basically just aim, and then at if you had a target, for example, which was a transform, you do, and it's a vector 3 that you need to supply. So if you have a target transform somewhere, you want to supply its position like that. So this is the public method for the blaster script. If you want to see it in action, you can actually look in this script, which is the demo. Let's see, player demo. This would be if you had a player or a AI script, for example. You'll see here that basically I do a raycast using the screen position and the mouse cursor, and if the mouse is if the raycast from the camera itself to where my mouse is on the screen, if that hits an object, and in this case it would be the floor, for example, or a distant wall here, if the raycast hits, then it loops through all the BL turrets scripts or components, and then it uses this public method, the aim, and it aims at the hit point, so basically where my mouse cursor is here. And in the same way you'd want to do when you want to fire the blaster, there's a public method called in the third script here, fire. So you can do fire, and basically you don't need to supply any argument for that one, or any argument, but if you want to enable or disable the round robin, you could do false here if you don't want it to do the round robin cycling through the sound effects, or you can just leave it blank or set it to true if you want it to cycle through the array of sound effects. Most commonly you probably just call it the fire method. And again, that one you can see in the player demo, blplayerdemo.cs. You'll see here that when input get button fire 1, then it'll loop through all the BL turret components in the scene, and it will fire it. And also if I have left shift press down, it'll fire it with round robin. Sorry, if it's not pressed down, left shift, then it'll fire it. Let's see now, if it's not pressed down, it'll fire it with round robin, and if I've pressed shift in this demo, then it will fire without the round robin. That was just to demonstrate the different sounds. Okay. Alright, so I think I'll finish this video here, and then I will create another video for applying the blaster script and the and the third script to a new object that you've created. So I'll see you in that video if you're interested. Thanks a lot. Bye.